In the fall of 1939, a German ship called the Admiral Graf Spee sunk 9 merchant ships crossing the Atlantic. In these first months of World War II, the British Royal Navy sent out hunting groups of ships to stop the Admiral Graf Spee, if they could find it.
This is that story. Kind of. This is a snap review for The Hunt. The Hunt is an asymmetric duel for 2 players by Matthias Kramer and Engin Kunter. It's co-published by Salt and Pepper Games and 25th Century Games. Takes 20 to 45 minutes to play, and the box says it's best for ages 14 and up. So Anitra, what can we say about the art in The Hunt?
The Hunt is themed on the German blockade of British freight during the early days of World War II. The board symbolizes the Atlantic Ocean, and players use wooden or cardboard tokens to indicate ships, damage, and progress. The cards remind me of a graphic novel. Every card suggests action and the tension of what was happening at the time. They're full of details that get me curious about the real historical events that inspired this game. So, how do we play The Hunt? Let's explain the mechanics of this game.
One player will play as the German forces, and the other player will play as the British. The German is trying to sink 5 British freight ships before they can reach their destinations, while the British forces are trying to prevent that by finding the German ship Admiral Graf Spee and winning a battle against it.
On the German player's turn, they play a card, then redraw until they have 3 cards in their hand. On the British player's turn, they first move all freight ships 1 space towards their destinations, then they play a card. At the end of their turn, they redraw until they have 5 cards in their hand.
On both sides, a card can either be redeemed for action points or played for the event that's written on it. Both sides use action points to move ships on the board and to search and attack. The Germans can also reserve action points for a future turn and to repair their airplane. The British can use action points to play additional cards to affect an upcoming die roll or to bring out additional offensive forces.
So let's talk about that searching and attacking. The German player can attack by revealing the Admiral Graf Spee at the same location as a freight ship. Then they roll a die. A result of 5 or more means the attack was a success and they sink the freight ship.
The British player can attack after rolling a die to search a space where one of their forces are located. Again, a result of 5 or more is a success, and if they found the Admiral Graf Spee, this will kick off a game-ending battle.
If a battle happens, both players immediately draw to a hand of 5 cards. Then they play a series of 5 duels with those cards, placing damage markers after each duel. The player with less damage wins, unless the battle is ended with Montevideo on the German side and scuttling in Montevideo on the British side, representing what actually happened in December 1939.
And, of course, a battle might not ever happen. The British player can still win by successfully delivering 5 freight ships to their destinations, or the Germans can win by sinking 5 freight ships while keeping the Admiral Graf Spee hidden.
So, what did we expect from The Hunt? It's co-designed by Matthias Kramer, who created Watergate and also Fight for Olympus. We've really enjoyed those games.
When I first saw The Hunt, I loved the box art with the officer looking through the binoculars, and like you said, when I saw that it was a 2-player game designed by Kramer, I was even more excited. Looking through the cards, the mechanics really reminded me of Watergate and how that game works. Cards can be used for points or for their actions, and really powerful cards were removed from the game after using them for their action. That back and forth deduction and guessing is exactly what made Watergate such a tense and great experience for me.
You were much more excited for this game than I was. I generally don't like war games because they tend to be very complex if they're going for realism. And simpler ones usually feel like a tug of war that's more about luck than strategy. But I was surprised how I was able to get into this game and really get interested in the historical material. I have a soft spot for naval warfare, I guess.
Although I really enjoyed the ideas behind this game, and let's face it, we're of an age where World War II was enough in our past to be super fascinating for us, the cat and mouse game kind of lost me a little bit. With something like Watergate, and I don't mean to keep comparing it, but here we are, you could tell from the pin board what the other player's strategy might be. Here, there were just, for me, too many variables as the British to feel comfortable guessing where the Graf Spee was, and so the whole game felt uncomfortable. I mean, I guess it was an uncomfortable situation.
I think that's intentional.
Right. So that's a win from the designer, but it didn't translate for me into a fun experience.
For me, the hunt was more work than I really wanted to put in for a relatively short game. The two sides have some similarities, but we constantly found ourselves asking, wait, can I do that? And needing to refer to the rules. Switching between the British and the German sides between games made it even harder to keep track of what actions were available to me.
That's another one of the things that I think kind of tripped me up about this game. There were a lot of little things, like the German saving action points, or the German plane offering a tipping point in a battle, that, I don't know, felt like they were almost introduced to balance the game a little bit. And for us, it just felt like more rules. So it wasn't quite as streamlined as I would like a two-player game to be.
The Hunt is a great game for history buffs and anyone studying World War II. This is especially true if you're looking at all the factors that contributed to the fights in the Atlantic Theater.
Every card in this game is dripping with history, and like some of Kramer's other games, there's more information for each of the cards inside the rulebook.
It is shorter than most historically accurate war games, but it's still best for teens and adults. If you're looking for a two-player battle of wits with a naval warfare theme, take a look at The Hunt.
We're going to give The Hunt 3.5 sunken ships out of 5.
And that's The Hunt
In a snap. This is a snap review for...
It's sideways.